Another movie review for you. This is the Guns of Navarone. It was released in 1961, directed by J. Lee Thompson, based from a book by Alistair MacLean, and the screenwriters were Carl Foreman, in conjunction with help from MacLean. I actually read some of MacLean's work, and he's pretty good. Cinematographer was Oswald Norris, and the music was by Dmitry Tiomkin. He's been involved in music scores for some time. The cast: Gregory Peck plays Captain Keith Mallory. He's a mountaineer in the American forces. It's World War II, of course. Anthony Quinn plays Colonel Andrea Stavrov. Anthony Quayle is Major Roy Franklin. David Niven plays Corporal Miller. Irene Papaz is Maria Papademos. Gia Scala is Anna. Stanley Baker plays C.P.O. Brown. And James Darren is Private Papademos. There's a brother and sister there, if you're wondering about that. Now, basically, just a few points. The movie was very well received and nominated for Best Picture, and Bill Warrington won the Oscar for Special Effects. More on that later. Just want to talk a little bit about the novel. It was about Second World War II, and it was about the Greek island of Navarone. However, Navarone doesn't exist. It was created in Alistair MacLean's mind, and the plot is purely fictional. However, the story that takes place, it takes place within the real historical context of the Dodecanese campaign that the Allies did to capture the Italian-held Greek islands in the Aegean Sea in the back end of 1943. The story for this movie is based on the Battle of Leros and Leros's Islands, which had coastal artillery guns, which were regarded as the largest naval artillery guns used in World War II, and they were built by the Italians and later subsequently used by the Germans. Okay, so that's the backdrop for this story. The assembled cast then are all part of a team that's been put together by a senior naval commander in the British Navy, and the task is to disable these guns that are in an almost impregnable position, and they're pointed in the direction where a large contingent of English soldiers, 2,000 in all, are trying to evacuate from Karios. And basically, if they can't be disabled, these soldiers will be slaughtered by the enemy. So Peck is put in charge of this group to try and carry out this impossible task of scaling a huge rock to gain access to the island, and then penetrate the fortress and destroy the gun. As we can see, the cast is pretty formidable, and they're all experts in their own right. They all bring particular talents to this particular task, although Peck, being a mountaineer, and the leader of this group, is the one who's going to have to climb this rock face initially, and so he is very much under pressure, and basically it's a standard World War II action movie. There's a lot of action in it. The Peck speaks German, so he's able to communicate with the Germans later in the film, and we witness some quite incredible sort of footage, particularly of the sea as they try to land near this island. There's a huge storm in progress, and it looks pretty realistic, and that's part of those special effects, I guess. And then there's the assault on the piece of rock, which is also formidable, and we get typical sort of Hollywood excitement and tension as that is attempted, and then after that it's infiltrating the German resistance by any which way they can, and we get the incidents of mixing with the local Greeks to escape capture. We get the typical traitor who tries to inform on the Germans and eventually gets found out. There's also a fair degree of hostility amidst the group. Mallory is not particularly liked by Miller, and Quinn, and who plays Stavros, he and Mallory have some unfinished business that has been delayed until the end of the war. Basically, Stavros blames Mallory for the death of his family in an operation that went sadly wrong, and he has basically said he's going to get his revenge. Quinn is absolutely fantastic in this movie, mind you. I think he is in all. He's got that sort of a glint in his eye which is ferocious. He's also got that womanizing look about him, and he's also got a lot of guile, and he's smart, and the character that he portrays is heroic. Peck, on the other hand, is very sort of to the book, but his ability to lead is tested throughout the film by the other members, and he does a good job in trying to maintain discipline, but at the same time allowing them to be themselves, so to speak, and bring out their qualities. Baker is an interesting character, Brown, who seems to have lost his nerve, too much killing, and basically can't wait for the war to end, and another project like this is all too much for him. And we have Niven, who's the explosive expert, who is very deliberate and very creative in this. So basically the movie is quite typical of movies in the 50s and early 60s depicting the World War II. Very much the Allies are the heroes and the Germans are those nasty people. So there's no surprises there. The actual ending is completely predictable and very Hollywood-like, but I did like the quality of the acting. The characters amongst the seven all have a real flavour, and that's one of the appealing aspects to this movie. Some of the scenes you hang with considerably. The scene where they find the traitor, the young woman who's apparently dumb, her name's Anna, but she's found out and given the choices of either bringing her along or leaving her for the Germans or killing her. The general consensus is she's got to be killed, and we have this confrontation by Niven towards Mallory with regard to the fact that he should take responsibility to pull the trigger, and it's a an intense scene, but he fortunately doesn't have to carry out the dreaded deed, because Maria does it for him. There's a tremendous scene after the woman has been murdered, where you capture the room with the corpse on the floor. The two protagonists leave the room, and there's a shot of the room with a complete wall has been obliterated by a bomb or a shell, and it really did capture the whole essence of what war can be like. So anyway, that's my view on it. Good performances all round, and it's the Guns of Navarone, and it was released in 1961, and it's a very enjoyable film. Whether it will stay with you for very long, I doubt it. It's one of those movies that you watch, finish, and probably forget about fairly swiftly.